Hey folks, it's Chad here, and today we are going to talk about hooking a Gen 3 Starlink satellite up to your 2024 or newer Airstream, Caravelle, and up. Let's get into a video of what you need to do with all of this stuff now. All right, folks, we are in one of my favorite floor plans. This is a 2025 Flying Cloud 30 RB. Happens to be a queen bed. This is absolutely a floor plan I would love to own at some point in my life. Now, if you didn't know, Airstream is retiring the 30 RB floor plan for the 2026 model year, so they're not producing this floor plan anymore. If you're in the market for a new 30 rear bed Flying Cloud, give me a call because this one is available. Now let's get into talking about the Starlink and the dish, or the different options that you have. There are a few different Starlinks out there. The one that I have in front of you is going to be the Generation 3 or Gen 3, which I think Airstream currently calls the standard Starlink dish on their website. They also now have the Mini. The Mini is going to be a much smaller floor mat because it's the Mini, and it also has the modem, the access point, the thing that's going to create Wi-Fi inside the dish. Now that means if you use the Mini, that your access point and your dish is outside. I am going to do a video soon on how to get that inside and how to create internet inside with the Mini. So be sure to subscribe so you can see that video when it posts, and I'll go through how to make that one work with your existing connection that you get on the Airstreams. The Gen 3 I recommend most of the time for people because it already uses an RJ45 style connector. Now it is a unique connector to Starlink, but this will work in just your regular RJ45 connector out there. And I'm going to show you what that looks like and how that works in a second. So the Gen 3, you're going to get a couple of things with it standard. So you're going to get the satellite, that's this part here, which Starlink refers to as the dishy. But you also get a separate access point. So this is what's going to broadcast out your local internet that your phones and TVs and stuff are going to connect to here. But it will connect to the dishy over this power cable that comes with the Starlink, which is this cable here. That's going to provide the connection that it needs to transmit data, but it's also going to provide power to the dishy so that it can, do what it needs to do. And then you also get a, power brick here that's 195 watts. This is going to power both the modem and access point, that's this box here, and it's going to power the dishy. Now let me show you real quick how to set this up inside, and I'm going to show you on the outside. I will tell you, I bought this Starlink, so Starlink did not send this to me. And I'm going to put into the description a link that you can click to go buy your Starlink. If you're in the market for a Starlink, if you use that link, you will get 30 days free service when you buy your Starlink, and I will get 30 days free service for Starlink. So if you're in the market, that will help us if you get your Starlink through that link and sign up for everything using that link. I'm also going to link this shorter cable here down there because you need this to make the system work on your Airstream. All right, so what I'm going to do to clarify something, so this is available, being able to do this on 2024 Airstreams and newer, and it's going to be Caravelle models and up. So Caravelle, Flying Cloud, International Globetrotter, Pottery Barn, Classic, all of those have the ability to do this, as well as the new Basecamp XE, but it's the XE only that has the outside RJ45 connector. All right, I'm going to grab the camera. I'm going to show you how to set up what you need to on the inside, and then we'll go outside and I'll show you how to set up the dish and where to plug it in, and we'll get this sucker running. On the inside, the parts that we need are going to be the power supply, the modem / access point, and a short cable. I'll link this again down below with the Amazon link so you can pick that up. And then where this is going to go is generally going to be in your front compartment near your radio. So the radio is right here on this floor plan, so we're going to have the RJ45 there. Some floor plans, it may actually be in the middle. It may be like right there in that area. The Classic 30 is an example of that. But essentially, you're going to look for this RJ45 here, which is going to connect to the one outside. And we also conveniently have a plug here that is inverted. So what we're going to do, we'll go ahead and grab the power supply. And of course, you can make this look much neater. There's like different options for mounting the stuff. Just, you gotta figure out how you want to do it, but plug that in right there. So that's plugged in. And then put this in here. I'll put all this cable up here. I'm gonna do most of this with one hand today, holding the camera, so give me grace. I do need to turn the battery disconnect on. So turn that on, so we've got power. Don't need this fan on. And then we need the modem. We'll set that right there for now, and we're gonna need that short cable right there. So this cable we're gonna plug in to the RJ45, and it is the unique cable, like the one that Starlink produced. So it's got like that little connector there. It does fit right into these plugs. So you can plug it right in, and it will just sit right in there, and then you can just pull it out if you need to. But it does like hold on. There's like a little bit of grip there that kind of holds it in place. But on the actual modem, it's going to push into there, into that little area right there. So let me grab that other end, and this cable comes with a nice little cap, which you can then use on your longer cable that came from Starlink. And then that's going to plug right into there. Oh, that way. Let me see. Oh, helps to see what the orientation is. So it plugs in right there, and then we're going to take our barrel plug and plug it in right there. So this is all hooked up on the inside. So to recap, we're going to plug power supply into power. We'll use this inverted circuit, which means we can turn the built-in 2000 watt inverter on to power this if we're boondocking, and then if you're not boondocking, that will be powered off the shore power, and then that's going to plug into that port, that plug or port on the modem here, and then we're going to plug in the RJ45 Cat6 cable in there, and then we plug it into that connection there. And now I'm going to wait, or that input there, I'm going to wait to turn the inverter on, and then by in turn turning the power on to this until I set up the dish outside. So let me get the dish, we'll go outside, and I'll show you where that guy plugs in outside. So I have actually set up Starlinks here at the store a few times in the past, and I have discovered that the direction you need Starlink to point is like that way. So I'm going to set the dish down right here. Now, when it comes from Starlink, it will actually have a little foot that connects right there, which I've taken that off, and this is a pole mount. I'll link that down in the description if you want to use a pole mount. There's a great little kit that you can get off of Amazon that comes with the pole and the pole mount all in one. So on the exterior, if you've watched any of my videos, I put this out pretty much every video. We've got this smart plug here. You're gonna have two smart plugs. This one's data and your coax cable, and then your power is gonna go into there. So we'll open this. Inside of here, we've got the data, and then that's a coax for like TV or something like that. Now our Starlink cable is going to plug in right there. So that plugs in there, and it's in there, like you can pull it out, but it's in there. And you can just kind of put that down if you want to, whatever you want to do there. And then the other end of our Starlink cable is going to go to the Starlink. Let's see if I can do this without messing anything up. With one hand holding the camera. So this right here, we need to take this off to actually get to where this plugs in. So it's going to slide right into here. There we go. All right, that's in there, and then this can go over top like that. There we go, locks in place. And now I can flip this back over. There we go. and it should angle about right there. So now we've got the Starlink connected to that cable. That cable is running in, connecting to the Airstream right there with the RJ45 input, and that's going inside the camper to the inside RJ45 that is plugged into the modem. So that's how we get the Starlink Gen 3 standard Starlink dish connected to your Airstream 2024 newer, and then inside the RV. So let's go back inside. We'll turn the inverter on, which should power up the Starlink. All right, on the Flying Cloud, the inverter power is right here, so we're going to hit and hold that. Or hold to turn off, just push it to turn on. So now we have kicked on the Progressive Dynamics 2000 watt inverter. Should be providing power now to our, yep, so we got a light on right there. So the dish should now be powering up, and I can bring the app up on my phone. Okay, we are on the line. You can see the hard line connection from the modem to the Starlink, and then the Starlink is connected to the sky. If it was misaligned, you would see that here, so you could go out and realign it if you needed to get the alignment correct. Let's go to speed test. So we're going to test the speed that the Starlink is getting currently. 90 megabits per second, 100 megabits. Yeah, it's about what I expect. Somewhere around 100 is usually what I feel like I see. I have seen it go higher, but generally somewhere around that 100 megabits per second down is what we see, and then somewhere around the 10 megabits per second up as well. Now this is the internet getting to the dish, and then 38 milliseconds. Now we can go down to advanced. Advanced lets us check the speed from the phone to the router. So the reason I'm showing you this, you can see here, I'm getting super fast speed to that access point, because that's it's a really nice access point. We're getting almost a gig down, 800 megabits per second down, and then the up speed seems to jump around a little bit more. I mean, it's trying to get to 100. That's 641 up, so that's really good. Now, the reason I point this out, if you decide to go with the Mini instead of the Gen 3, your modem, so this part here is actually built into the dish, so it would be outside. The modem would be out there inside, you know, the actual Starlink itself, and not in the camper. So that's something to think about. Now on the Mini, there is a mod that you can do that will enable you to bring the modem inside like this is, and have a modem like that. Starlink actually came out with a really nice little access point. I think it's called the Mesh. It's like $40, and you can use that with the setup. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel, because I am going to show you that and how that works in a video coming up as well. But if you're just looking for a simple way to get internet into your camper, if you have a 2024 or newer Airstream, Flying Cloud, and up, well, you already have the RJ45 connection outside that is coming inside, so you can easily get a Generation 3 Starlink. Now you need to add that extra cable. It could be just a regular RJ45 cable, but it's got to fit into that modem. That's why I like the cable, the shorter cable that I found on Amazon. So I'll link all of that down in the description. Remember, if you are going to buy a Starlink and you found this video to be helpful, click that link in the description too, so that you get 30 days free, and we get 30 days free. But you see the speeds there. It's very simple, and you get internet right off the gate. And I'll show you a video of a setup that we did with a pole that we put just under the foot of the tongue there, and then it gets it up high enough that it's over the camper. So if you're in the campground with a lot of campers, you can get above all of the other campers and still get internet. And I'll link that pole and the mount that we used to do that down in the description as well. If you have any questions, feel free to throw those in the comments, and I'll try to answer those if I can. Hope you guys are living riveted. We'll see you down the road. Thanks. Bye.